Hi, welcome back. Today we are looking at selling techniques and phrases that could be useful if you're trying to sell something. Now, not all of you will be working in sales and marketing, but the reality is that on a fundamental human level, we're selling ourselves the whole time. So it's about a kind of an attitude, like maybe you're trying to get picked in the football team. We're going to be looking at just the kind of approach and the confidence you need to have to be able to sell yourself, as well as phrases that you can use if you are working in sales. Okay, so my top tips. You want to have a confident voice. I've got other videos where I'm teaching aspects of voice work, so do check those out. But very basically, don't mumble, yeah. Don't be too overbearing, yeah, but be yourself, speak clearly, communicate what you need to say. And you should try and feel good. So many different things you can do to make yourself feel good, from listening to music to small adjustments, eating the right food, wearing clothes that you feel comfortable in. But, this is a whole lifestyle thing. But the moment before you go to try and sell, pick yourselves up, make yourselves feel good. Be yourself, yeah? There's no point trying to copy someone else. I had the misfortune to have to work in London, where I was one of those people trying to raise money for charity on the streets. It's not a fun job. A chugger, they're called. Charity fundraiser. And copying my boss's approach didn't work because he was totally different to me, and I was really bad at the job. Left after a week. But I'm an amazing salesman, obviously, and I've got so much to teach you. Right, you need to make the script your own. Have a look at it. What are the compelling reasons that you can think of for your customer to buy that product? Try and rephrase it. How would you actually say this? Because it needs to sound natural to you. You need to be listening to the person you're selling to. So really respond to them. What are their concerns? Like, if you can sort of build a relationship with them, then they're much more likely to buy a product from you. Have an interest in them. Make it new each time. So as an actor, sometimes I would do plays, time and time again. But the trick is to do it so, that audience member hasn't seen this show before. So it needs to be a new experience for them. And the same thing is if you're selling, really think about what it is that you are selling, and be interested and excited in it. Not great. It shows a lack of fluency. It shows a lack of sort of assurance. I sometimes play a game with my students where they have to speak for 30 seconds about a given topic, and they're not allowed to hesitate by going, They're not allowed to deviate by going off topic, and they're not allowed to repeat themselves. Now, I once did another sales job where I had to go into this office and we'd be sat in front of a computer and we'd have to cold call various people, asking them to give money to a charity. So, no, Mr. Jones is not interested. Okay, on to the next person. You see, what I wasn't doing is making it new each time, and I didn't have energy. Have you watched Wolf of Wall Street, that highly entertaining film with Leonardo DiCaprio? Those guys are going, they're ramming it down their throats. I'm not saying you have to be quite that sort of bullish, but if you stand up and get sort of passionate about what you're doing, then it's going to be much more interesting for the other person. Anticipate questions. Why might the person not be interested? Think of a comeback. You've got to premeditate everything. Right, let's start looking now at some actual phrases that you could use specifically with a telephone cold call. I have a friend called Harry who works at a wonderful clothes company called Apumu. So we're going to imagine that we're him doing a cold call. Hi, it's Harry from Apumu. Like, they might not have a clue who Apumu is, but I'm going to go straight on in. You're probably in the middle of doing something. And then I'm going to leave a pause. It gives them a chance to respond. They might say, yeah, I'm watching the football. What do you want, mate? So this, I said again, didn't I? Maybe you can keep a little tally. This is an opportunity to respond to what they've just said. Oh, the football, fantastic. Who's playing today? Oh, yeah, it's the Wolves game. You're not a Wolves fan, are you, sir? Or madam? They're like, what do you want, mate? What is this? But at least I'm starting to build that relationship. I will go on to what you say when you give your pitch on the next board, but I'm just explaining ways into the conversation at the moment. So we could say, I understand. Well, I won't keep you for too long. I know you want to get back to that football, but, and then I'm going to go into my sales pitch. There's no apology here, yeah? We're trying to eliminate these ums, these ahs. If we appear too apologetic, then they're just going to sort of dismiss us. We've got to be a little bit confident and, you know, you've got to get in there. Another approach would be this. So the same beginning. Hi, it's Harry from Apumu. I haven't caught you at a bad time, have I? Now, this is quite clever psychology because we like to say no. But if the answer is no, then, oh, great. So we've got some time to talk. So you're playing a little mind game on them. Right, let's go now and look at how you actually talk about your company. Right, let's get into the main content. You'll notice that the attitude here is one of confidence in the product that is being promoted. Now, a cultural difference between North Americans and Brits is that North Americans are very good at selling themselves and saying what they do and promoting it, whereas the British are more sort of reticent. They hold back a bit more. But I think there are some lessons to learn from the Americans here. So we've got the interest on the phone. The person is listening at least, and now it's our moment to talk about the company. We're going to swap over. We're not going to worry about Apumu, just because it works better to talk about my mum's garden design business. So let's talk about that. So my company, I'm going to put the name in there, transforms derelict spaces into beautiful gardens. We work with, do we work with individuals, groups, FTSE 500 companies? We work with individuals in the such and such region, and we recently helped, let's say, a cafe to create an outdoor wonderland that has now doubled the amount of customers they have enjoying their outdoor space. With this particular cafe, we managed to get rid of the problem of no one sitting outside when it rains by creating an awning, and we also removed the inconvenience of the buses and the traffic creating noise pollution because the bush that we put in blocked off much of the sound. And ultimately, the customers enjoyed being in there to such an extent that our trade volume has massively gone up, or their volume has gone up. So I was wondering if you'd be interested in a garden redesign or a cafe redesign. Now, I was going quite slowly through this material and I was thinking about it. I hadn't worked it out in advance. Obviously, if you are selling something, then you need to know your script so well that you're like, da, 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 da. You need to know your examples. You need to know what you have done and why it was so amazing. Okay? Now, it's really important that you find out the needs of the customer. What exactly are you looking for? Give them a chance to spell it out and then say how you can supply that need. Maybe they say, actually, you know what? I don't need a new garden at the moment. I'm happy with what I've got. This answer comes from the world of cold calling. Not a problem at all. Okay, do you see how we're kind of putting all the sounds together? Elision, not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. What I would say, emphasis on would, what I would say is that about 90% of our clients said that exact same thing. And I'd love to show you some pictures from the transformations of gardens that we have done. Now, we're being purposeful, we're being proactive here, and we're saying, come on, let's do this. Would it work for you if we arranged an initial meeting and we could talk about some potential aspects of the garden we could put in? Shall we book an appointment? Shall we send over? Shall we arrange a follow-up call? What if we met next Tuesday? Okay, so the general attitude, confident, you know your product, it's great, yeah? You're going to get in there, you're going to ask questions, you're going to form a relationship, you're going to listen to the other person, you're going to take your cues from them. You know your script, but you're going to react to what the other person says, okay? Hope that's been useful. Hope there's been something in here that you can apply to your everyday life. Until the next time, make sure you do the quiz and happy selling.